Good evening. Welcome in daily UPSC editorial audio program. She said he quit. Then, the Times of India. India needs to develop the Hindu. Now the full editorial. She said he quit. Then, the Times of India. Even when women like in Mollywood now uh, get a hearing, they are wait for a real redressal. Continues. Yesterday, the Association of Malayalam movie artists post, postponed its emergency meeting before collapsing into the emergency itself. The HEMA committee report submitted to Kerala government in 2019 finally became public last week. Insofar as powerful vested interests are thought to have uh, machinated the years of delay, this conspiracy theory has been reinforced by everything that is frothing up now. Sexual abuse allegations have mounted even against Amma office bearers. AMMA. Its president Mohanlal and executive committee have resigned from resigned after widespread criticism of their response to the crisis. All this churn is promising, exposing that decay to sunlight is where the cleansing has to begin. But it is key to remember that a road that goes deep cannot be fixed easy or quick. It will need a razor focused, sustained work. Who must do the heavy lifting? Actor Prithviraj is right to underline underline it is government that must follow up on the findings of the report. This includes both thorough investigation of each case and wider redressal measures such as a tribunal to address women's concern as recommended by the report. The Harvey Weinstein case that has been seminal to fighting sexual abuse in entertainment industry worldwide is a reminder of how much it takes to build a legally sustainable case, but also of how much of a change pulling this off makes. US has seen justice system improve to hear the survivors say by a lengthening of status of limitations. Another Me Too Weinstein legacy is how it shifted public perception of sexual assault from she said he said, doubting accusers while protecting abusers in much less kosher even in India now. But what we have yet to see is women artists getting exemplary justice. Deterrence depends on proportionate punishment, whether it is women in cinema, collective or others standing up against widespread abuse. Their cost, including lost work opportunities, still total up as higher than their wins. Only a real reversal of this question can ensure that the bravery of everyone who has brought the cause of justice so far is not slapped by the abuse continuing after a pause. If that a third Weinstein lesson is to look wider. The reckoning that was needed was not in Hollywood alone. Today, it would be disingenuous to act like sexual abuse is some Mollywood specialty. Guilds and governments have totally failed artists here. But what about other Indian film industries? Those need their own HEMA committee to bring grim patterns into the spotlight. India needs to develop the Hindu. Doing this will help increase women's participation in the labor force. Rama V. Baru Pallavi Gupta, retired professor of medicine and community health, Jawaharlal Nehru, New Delhi. Specialist health systems transformation platform, New Delhi. A low female labor force participation rate (FLFPR) has been the focus of the bulk of the discussion around women's empowerment. According to the Economic Survey 2023-24, against a world average of 47.8% 2022, the FLFPR in India was 37% 2022-23, although it increased from to 23.3% in 2017-18. 37.5 of this share comprises unpaid helpers in household enterprises, that is, women who are not paid for the work they do, which is separate from domestic work. Women's active participation in the economy is crucial for reducing gender inequality. A key reason for women's low economic participation is the disproportionately high burden of care that they shoulder within the family. This ranges from child care to the care of other household members, including the elderly, sick, and disabled. Added to these care responsibilities is other domestic work. In India, women aged 15 to 64 years spend about three times more time daily than men on unpaid domestic work. Responding to childcare needs to increase women's participation in the labor force, attention is now being paid to childcare. Some state governments have focused on building support services through the existing Anganwadi network. In the 2024-25 budget, there has been a 3% increase in the Ministry of Women and Child Development's budget for the Integrated Child Care and Nutrition Program, Saksham Anganwadi and Poshan 2 scheme. The ministry has been working towards a policy framework to address the need for child care. Different models of community-based crèches for children are operational in parts of some states. With partnership between government and non-government bodies, it would be worthwhile to review these models for replicability, financial sustainability, and scalability. A more widespread network of creches suitable to the local context and populace is required in rural, tribal, and urban areas to facilitate the participation of women in the workforce. However, recognizing only childcare needs is a limiting perspective. Women are primarily caregivers across the life course of household members. Hence, for women to participate in the economy, their care responsibilities need to shift elsewhere. The demand for external support in the form of hired caregivers is rising in urban and peri-urban areas. However, there are no standardized processes for employment of such workers. Domestic workers often develop as caregivers without any training or protection for themselves. There are no minimum basis employment standards, safety and security measures, and quality standards for care by hired workers. Of offloading responsibilities. To offload women's care responsibilities, it is crucial to create an ecosystem that responds to the household's care needs while protecting the rights of care workers. This ecosystem must provide for safe, quality, and affordable care by care workers who are well trained, earn decent wages, and command dignity and respect for their work. From the demand side, developing a needs-based assessment of the mix of care services required across age groups, socio-economic economic status, and geographies would be a first step. A mapping of supply side actors and institutions must include the public, private, and non-profit sectors. With demand for care on the rise across a family's life course, given rising incidence of ill health and disabilities, the availability and quality of care workers have emerged as a major policy concern. Care workers are hired directly by families or through placement agencies. bureaus, nursing bureaus, hospitals, home health care companies, and not-for-profit organizations, among others. The more organized ones train their workers and have a multidisciplinary team to attend to the varied needs, including specialized nursing, palliative, and end-of-life care at home. However, in the absence of any standard and regulations, the availability, accessibility, affordability, and quality of these services vary across regions. Need for policy intervention. The gap in the training, skilling, and certification of a mix of care workers required to meet the growing demand needs to be addressed. The Domestic Workers Sector Skill Council, uh, recherished as the Home Management and Caregivers Sector Skill Council. The Healthcare Sector Skill Council and the National Skill Development Corporation are the apex bodies involved in the skilling and certification of different cadres of care workers. It is unfortunate that the labor intensive and emotionally extracting care sector does not command commensurate respect, remuneration, and dignity. This is a crucial area for policy intervention. The World Economic Forum's report on the future of care economy highlights three perspectives. The first is seeing the care economy as an engine for increasing economic productivity. The second is from a business perspective. Organizations can relate to the care economy as investors and employers. The third is from the human rights perspective that focuses on gender equality and disability inclusion. We need to comprehensive policy that define the care ecosystem from a life course perspective. A committee of the Ministries of Women and Child Development, Health and Family Welfare, Labor and Employment, Social Justice and Empowerment, and Skill Development and Entrepreneurship would be ideal to initiate the process. Thank you.